In this 5th episode, Linda and I talk about our kids.
So we have 9 children.
At least the ones we can remember.
Mary is 15 and
right? Yeah.
Jude is...
Mary's 16.
With 5 girls and 4 boys, we realized we're going to be pretty old when they all leave.
Who's going to teach her to drive? Because Mom and Dad will be too old to, which we will be.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
We are Chris and Linda Paget. We may be flawed and a bit crazy, but we're living the greatest adventure.
From high school sweethearts to parents of 9 children, following our dreams led us here to a 9-sided house in central New York.
In our little paradise, we have connected with the simpler life of family, faith, and very naughty farm animals. We're taking this once abused and neglected piece of land and making it into our happy place.
So we have 9 children, 5 girls, 4 boys. Our oldest is 26 and our youngest is 7. So that's about a 20-year difference there.
Hannah's
26
Sara
is 24. Almost.
Madeline
is
20. And then Noah is
19.
19. Colby is 17. And Mary is 15. And
right? Yeah.
Jude is...
Mary's 16. Jude is 14. Joe is 12.
Joe is 12.
Ella is 7.
Ella's 7. And we're 48.
We know that. So our oldest is Hannah. She is married and has the cutest little boy you'll ever meet. I mean, little Oliver is a year old. So we're grandparents. They live in Dallas. Hannah she's very much like me. She really is. She is the type A personality, very driven, very focused, and has always been that way. She's had her life planned out for years ahead. She knows what she's doing. She got her degree in education. She taught school in Vegas when they lived in Vegas for a couple years. Now they're in Dallas. She is a full-time fashion blogger, and she's doing really well with that. She's gorgeous and...
Glam life living.
Yeah, glam life living. So that's Hannah.
Sarah's our second oldest, and she lives right across the road from us in the tiny house. And that's been pretty awesome for us on the property. So every day we get to hang out with little Audrey, who is a very amazing and special gift for us. And we get to basically be in their life, at least for a little while longer. It's very probable Sarah's going to be getting married to Dean, who has been in her life from the very beginning. She's been very different from Hannah, decidedly different, I think, but also just the reality of who she is. Her cadence is very much like me, and so she is very sensitive to what's going on emotionally around her. She has a great empathy for people, cares for people deeply, and so it's not a surprise that she ended up working in nursing.
So our third daughter is Madeline. Madeline is almost 21, and she is engaged. She lives in North Carolina. She's engaged to a Marine. Maddie is the only one of our children who looks like me. Maddie is super sensitive. She's our very sensitive, sweet soul, and she's figuring out her life, and it's an adventure to watch her figure things out as she's processing, and it's stressful, very, very, very stressful, but very exciting at the same time. And
she's doing schooling, and she's done schooling off and on, and I think she's exploring what could possibly be. And I feel like for us, we've never been like, you have to go to college and do it exactly like the way we did. We recognize that there's so many diversities of approaching this thing called adulthood, and so we really try to encourage our kids to relax a little bit and explore what might be, what could be.
We live it ourselves. Do what you love, and what that looks different for everybody, and we've tried to instill that into our kids.
So then we have Noah, who's our oldest son. I mean, he looked like me right from the go. I was so pumped when we had him. But when he was born, it was awesome, though. He was the same weight I was when I was a baby. He was the same length. He had yellow jaundice, which I had yellow jaundice, and everybody kind of called him my mini-me. And I'll never forget this little story. It was so cute. Like, Noah, he was thinking about playing in the band, and so he said, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. I'm going to play the trumpet and tell people about Jesus, which was so sweet because I played the trumpet when I was in high school, and so he chose to do that. It didn't last long, thank God, because his gift was more athletics than it was music, but it was just a sweet moment. He's always had that sweet spirit about him.
Yeah.
Noah is at college. He just started his school experience down at Ave Maria. And Noah is discerning and thinking about maybe the priesthood, which honestly, in this day and age can be a little scary sometimes for a parent. And yet we've met some pretty amazing and incredible priests that we love and are big parts of our life who are good, holy men. And I know that if Noah chooses that to be his path, that he'll be a real blessing to a lot of people.
And then number 5 is
Colby.
Colby is 17. He is a junior. Colby I think he's one of our most unique children.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He is definitely the most introverted of all of them. He comes home from school, he kind of just merges into his bed and just becomes one with that bed, and you don't see him for the rest of the day unless you absolutely insist on it.
Yeah.
Yes, he will stay there the whole time. But then recently we've discovered that he may actually have a knack for acting, which really surprised us. We were playing a game as a family.
All of a sudden he started doing these theatrical kind of performances, like, what the crud?
Yeah, because
like,
he decided he didn't want to do sports anymore because it stressed him out. And we're like, okay, then don't do the sports. But then we were just like, you should consider drama club because I think there's a knack there, even though he's so quiet. And he's enjoying it, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But if you've ever been to any of my events, I've always told stories about Colby. Like, he's so funny. When he was a little kid, he was so hilarious. One time we were at this church, and there was a gigantic crucifix hanging from the ceiling, and Colby looked over at me, and he's like, Jesus. And I'm thinking, like, I'm such a great dad. My son knows who Jesus is. And Colby was probably like 3 years old, 4 years old, this little itty-bitty thing. And I'm thinking, of course he knows. I travel all over the world talking about God. So if any kid's going to get it, it's him. And I'm beaming with pride. And I'm like, that's right, Colby, that's Jesus. And he looks up and he says, what's he doing here? And and I got panicky and what do you mean, what's he doing here? He lives here. He's in the tabernacle. He's in our hearts. He's like, how'd he get in here? So the way that Colby has processed this thing called life, and it's just been so fun to watch. So anyway, Colby, and then we have Mary Catherine Frances Paget, right?
Yeah, she's the first one with 4 names.
That's right. So little Mare Bear is she's our redheaded teenager.
Our only redhead, really.
She's so
we
strong.
wanted a redhead the whole time.
Man, that girl has got just a tenacious heart. She is a hard worker. She cares for people, reliable. Everybody wants to be around Mary, loves to be with Mary. She can fit in with the ladies. She fits in with the guys. She's a Paget woman, that's for sure.
Yeah, she's 16, and she is stuck between 4 boys, and so she has learned how to take care of herself quite well.
That girl's a force of nature.
Yes.
She's going to run something, a convent,
yeah, so we said
country,
she'll make a great head superior one day. And actually, she wants to be
forensic.
She wants to be a detective, a police detective. That's what she wants to go to.
She'll do that amazing,
okay,
too.
well, yeah, she will do it amazing. Right. And then we have
the little ones, Jude.
Jude is
super type A.
Super type A, but how old is he?
Driven. He'll ask the other siblings, how'd you do in that class, just so he can tell you that he got an A, basically. Yeah. That's what he'll do. And he's just going to give his all. And it's hard for him to play a game and not be entirely invested in that game. He's got to basically try to win. But he's smart as a whip, too, though. I feel like Jude is the kind of kid who's got a lot of gifts and talent, so it'll be fun to watch him grow.
Watch him grow. He's 14.
He's 14.
For the record.
And then Joseph is
12.
Mm-hmm. And Joe is in
6th grade.
6th grade. Mm-hmm. And I've met Joe before as well.
And Joe is the mini Chris. They even have the same butt crack. And they wear their pants. Wow. Yeah. You have the same butt crack. The pants don't stay up high enough. But he has your humor.
Joe is funny. And Joe, like his teacher said about Joe has an advanced sense of humor. Which was great.
Code for he needs to cool it.
He's
gonna get in trouble.
He's doing great. You'll ask Joe, hey, will you bring in some wood? He'll bring in like one wood. Okay, at least bring in two. You have two hands. But Joe is so funny. And then finally, little Ella, who's our princess, and Ella's basically, spoiled rotten, and she's the queen. She can do no wrong. Ella, though, is got a great delivery with humor too.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ella's got some possibilities there.
Yeah,
But
I think we're gonna be in trouble when she gets older.
Yeah.
We're gonna be too tired to really be of any use for her. And she started the other day. She was crying hysterically because she was afraid. She thought I think she does kind of deal with this fear of when I'm older, everyone's going to be gone and I'm going to be alone. But I'm like, first of all, you'll be a teenager and you'll want that. but she also is afraid of who's going to teach her to drive because mom and dad will be too old to.
Oh.
Which we will be.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Next time on the Happy Place Homestead Show.
Linda gets pizza.
Do I get pizza? What the crap?
And I get the look of shame.
Am I allowed to have it?
We invite you to an epic game we do on our property called Underground Church.
Underground Church is crazy, it's fun, it's insane.
It's hard to win when you're being betrayed.
I'm innocent.
He traded on me. Church has got to get a win sooner or later.